Samsung have just launched the Galaxy Z Flip 5, and there are a few obvious upgrades, but they haven't told us everything. Today I'm going to deep dive into all of the hidden features that we didn't get told about that makes this the pocketable powerhouse that it is. Let's go. With every new phone launch, Samsung cram in huge upgrades that they put into massive marketing campaigns and shove them into everyone's faces. But they leave quite a bit of their new product features on the cutting room floor, and it doesn't make the marketing material that goes out to the wider public. A lot of them are really fun and useful updates, and the Flip 5 is no exception. Let's dive straight in and look at what Samsung has done to make this a bigger upgrade than what it seems. Starting with the Flex window. By now, we know that the Flex window is bigger. That much is obvious. What hasn't really been spoken about quite as widely is its capabilities. Yeah, we know it's got some extra widgets, there's some extra fun stuff you can do with the camera, but do we really know everything extra that Samsung have done to make it a much bigger upgrade than what it seems? Let's start with the more obvious, less obvious one. Yeah, that works. Inside advanced settings, under the labs menu, this is my favorite menu, by the way, if you haven't figured out, you can find the apps allowed on cover screen. In here, you get a limited number of apps that you can toggle on in a widget that allows you to launch basically full smartphone versions of these apps on the cover window. It's great. It's just that it's limited to 5. You've got Netflix, you've got YouTube, and you could see the other ones in there. And they're all kind of tiny bit optimized to work when the phone is closed. It's a little widget that appears on your Flex window. You just navigate to it, and there you see the 5 apps, all the apps that you choose at your liking. As it's not Samsung to completely limit you, for the people who want it, they allow you in other ways. And the way they did it with the Flip 5 is through Good Lock. In the Good Lock module Multi-Star, there's an I Love Foldable section. In here, there's a number of things you can enable, but one of them is enabling the widget that allows any app to be opened on the Flex window. In here, you can peruse at your leisure any app that's installed on your phone and toggle it on to actually appear in that widget on your Flex window. So I just choose the ones that I commonly use on the inside, but put them on the outside, because what's really great too is you can start using them on the cover window, and when you need to or want to, you can open it up and it'll transition seamlessly into that section of the app. Especially when you look here at X, you'll see it actually really go from one point to the other pretty seamlessly. I like that. Within this module too is a game widget. This is really fun because you can turn on these little game snacks. So you turn on the widget and you select the games you want to be displayed. Some of them are just downright rip-offs of like more popular games like Subway Surfers, but it's not Subway Surfers. You'll see what I mean. And, you know, Fruit Ninja, but for like desserts. It's really weird. Some of them I just literally have no idea what you do with them. But the ones that work really well, I really like this stacking one where you just press down and the ball. It's strangely calming and addictive and really works well on the cover screen of the Flip 5. Thing is, it's like a thing that you can do to save you from needing to open up your phone and then end into a doom scroll, because you can just have yourself mildly entertained from the Flex window without ever needing to open your phone up. The next part to Flex window is to do with the cameras. The basic premise of having this cover display with cameras hasn't changed. You still get that preview of what's going on and allowing you to frame up your shot using those rear cameras for high quality selfies. What's different is they've added some quality of life improvements to make it better to use these and giving you more flexibility. First flexibility pun of the video. You can now pinch to zoom. Previously, you could only toggle between the ultra wide and the wide camera, but you now can go all the way up to that 10 times digital zoom for reasons. You can also activate more settings at the top. You can see you now have the motion photo setting. You could turn on or off the tap to shoot on the front display, because obviously being a bigger display, accidental touches might come into play, so you might want to turn that off if you want to, because there's plenty of ways to activate the selfie camera. In portrait mode, you can choose the portrait background before you take the photo rather than needing to go in afterwards. That's really cool. With both of those photo modes, you still have all of the ratio choosing, so that's not new. It's still there. The biggest camera change I actually noticed was in video. Obviously, last year brought in the option to record video from the front, but it was quite limiting. But now, because it's got the bigger window, you get some toggles. What I really kind of actually think is genius is you could activate super steady from here. Now, being that it's a nice pocketable size and you might want to just record yourself sort of walking while it's closed, having super steady on the front really is going to allow for different ways of capturing content on the go. Because it's stability and it gives you extra stability, it's actually really kind of smart. I put it next to each other. You can see on the screen now, non-super steady versus super steady. There is a quality difference, especially in HDR, so you'll have to decide whether the extra stability that it gives you is worth the trade-off. Because if you actually look at the non-super steady, it is okay. So you'll just have to make that choice when you're shooting. Now that we've got this cover screen covered, let's unfold this thing. When it's open, let's round off the camera. There is a tiny little toggle that you probably wouldn't even notice. When you put it into flex mode, it's got a little toggle here to remove the black bars at the left and right. This is only in preview, so it'll fill the display in the preview mode. When you actually do take the photo, it does bring it back in, and you can see that when you go into the gallery and it's in flex mode, those little bars at the side reappear. It's captured that content. It's just, I guess, for visual aesthetic purposes, it crops it out at the top half when it's in flex mode. There's a new looking icon for cover screen preview, and I think that's just to match the new design. It's not new functionality, it was still there, it's just now looks different. The last features actually tie in to multitasking. They are features that oneui 5.1.1, so Fold5 will have these as well, as does the Tabus Line Ultra. You can watch that video that I did talking about all of their new features that that's got. The first one is a really simple one. It's where you can drag apps into a pop-up window, then flick it over to the side into a little tab. Again, I really think this makes sense, because if you have something that you really just want to shelve for a moment and come back to it, you can leave it there as a visual cue that you still have it open, and then just flick it back into place. It's very smooth in how it operates, but the function is good. It's really good function. The other thing too is the two-finger multitasking. So I don't mean the two-finger swipe to bring up multi-window. I mean the fact that you can hold something down with one finger and still navigate the screen with the other. So whether you're dragging and dropping something into a message or into a notes file, it's very convenient. Or if you're reorganizing your home screens, again, hold down the app, drag the apps left to right, and drop it where you need to go. I really think that's also clever and makes use of the form factor. The second part, this is not on the Tabus Line Ultra, it is only on the foldables, is the new Flex Mode panel. Samsung introduced this, I think it was last year, to really take advantage of the form factor. App developers weren't doing it. A very select few were, but they're just not getting on board. So Samsung, in their infinite wisdom, the way they like to work is we'll just make it happen ourselves. Flex Mode panel, you could turn on any app to work and turn the top half into content, bottom half into control. It's got a complete redesign this year, and I really appreciate where they're going with it. Previously, you couldn't turn on Flex Mode panel for apps that already had a custom layout, but you get the option now to go over the top and override that. So you can see in the apps list in the Flex Mode panel in advanced settings, you'll see that there are apps that tell you that it provides a custom layout. You could toggle it on here so it always launches into that, or if you really don't want to and you just want to decide in the moment, Samsung gives you a little Flex Mode panel toggle once you activate Flex Mode. Appears in the bottom left corner, you press it, and the Flex Mode panel will open. Once you're in this Flex Mode panel, depending on the app that you're interacting with, will depend on the interface that you see. For example, media content, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Spotify, it will open up a little play and media sort of control center where you can drag yourself through the slider, you can forward left or right 10 seconds, back 10 seconds, whatever it is, or you can press pause if you need to. Down the bottom of that is some extra functions that is quite generic. You get the option to pull down your notifications, you can activate multi-window, you can bring up a touchpad. So this will basically turn your little bottom half into like a mouse pad, and you can interact with it and bring up a mouse in the top half of the screen for sort of extra sort of control. Again, really clever, and I really like it. And they've even built in gestures. So if you do like a 3-finger gesture, that'll be like activate as a back. 4-finger will bring up like an app window for you to open another app. It's just really clever and really intuitive, and I really like what Samsung have done with it here. If there's a little settings cog as well, you can then control the volume or the screen brightness. It literally has everything in there, and it basically turns your foldable into like this mini laptop. It's really nice. There is plenty of other updates to this device that we know about, but I'm going to save them for a full review once I really get in depth and use this phone for a period of time. So make sure you subscribe for that, because again, I've got plenty of content and I've still got my folder on its way. So make sure you're here and around for that, because that's it for this week. That is it covering this little beautiful. I've got the online exclusive blue with the black matte frame. I really love the matte finishes on phones. Devastated, to be honest, when the normal colors were glossy. So I was really pleased when I found out that the online exclusive was blue, which is why I got it. So lots of content to come. Like I said, make sure you like this video, subscribe to it, share it to your friends, put it up around the interwebs, whatever it is you want to do. And between now and my next video, make sure you come follow me on Twitter. I'm just going to stick with that, and Instagram, and I'll see you in my next video. You!